274. We were gamers. I'm going to start it off quick because I have a burning question that Michael reminded me of right away, and I want to get to it.
Hey, everybody.
Hi, Michael. JJ.
Oh, hello. Yes.
Hi. Uh, we were gamers, and as you do on We Were Gamers, we also talk about all the different names we've come up with for leveling up, adulting, a homeowner's minute, whatever you want to call it. Let's talk about the boring part of being an adult. I had to change my phone plan.
The most tedious thing.
Yeah, that sounds like not a fun way to waste an hour and a half.
Man, only an hour and a half. You're lucky.
Michael has been on the phone with me.
I was gonna say, was this over the phone? Because phone calls with Andy are one of my favorite segments from the fall, and it's football season again, so it's perfectly timed.
So just like phone calls from the road with Michael and Andy, this one was also to AT&T. This time, mostly net positive, but some weird stuff in there. Like at one point, the first time I called, I was offered 2 Apple Watches for free, and I was like, but I don't need them. And then that obviously means I need to pay for some sort of plan to add them. I don't need that. And then the second time I had to call back, because the first time I had asked for, we went to an unlimited plan.
Mm-hmm.
The first time I had gone to one unlimited plan that did not include HBO because that one was more expensive. And this one was a reasonable amount to solve our problem. Well, the minute I check the plan to see if it's updated online, it shows the more expensive one.
Okay.
And I'm like, we talked about this. I didn't want the more expensive one because, it was like the last thing we discussed. Why you do this? Now I got to call back. So I call back, and the very nice, they're both very competent and nice ladies. And it turns out the first one was much more competent than probably her colleagues would like her to be. No. Let's say her bosses, not her colleagues.
Okay.
Because she had upgraded us because she had noticed that the discount plan that we're on offers the highest tier for the price of the tier I had settled on.
Ooh.
That person's not getting a bonus.
She's getting a very good review from me in the email they sent. Anyway, so I now have HBO Max. Other than Watchmen, what is your number one go-to thing that I need to watch?
All right. Well, Watchmen was number 1, so I'm glad you picked that one first.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just started something new actually on HBO Max over the weekend. It's a little trippy, but it's definitely engrossing. It's called The White Lotus.
I've heard of this.
It takes place in a Hawaiian resort, and there are sort of like 3 main storylines that all interweave with the characters there, and it's kind of darkly comic.
Okay,
but we're halfway through it. There's only 6 episodes, but
Cool.
It's been really good so far.
I'm into that.
In terms of TV stuff, I think the what's the name? The Golden Compass show? What was the name of that show? His Dark Materials.
His Dark Materials, which I still haven't
Ooh.
actually watched. I'm so delinquent on that.
It is a British production, so expect some like BBC level stuff there.
Yes.
I like BBC level stuff. Peaky Blinders is one of my favorite shows.
Yeah, I like it. It's much more true to the books than any of the previous His Dark Materials stuff has been, movies or otherwise that I'm aware of.
Sure.
Which, if you've read those books, you know what that means. Otherwise, you enjoy it. It is a good show. I like that. It's not like deeply engrossing drama, though.
Okay.
And in terms of movies, I think there's a couple I can recommend.
I heard that Mortal Kombat's on there.
Mortal Kombat is on there. That was one I was going to recommend maybe for you and less for your wife.
Yeah.
The new James Gunn Suicide Squad is on there.
Is Fast 9 on there still?
I was going to recommend. I don't think Fast 9 was ever on there.
Okay. All right.
Sweet. But yeah, the James Gunn Suicide Squad is good, and you both should watch that. It's a great movie.
Okay.
And I'll make one more, Andy. I'll throw out a recommendation from my wife to your wife.
Oh boy.
and say that my wife very much enjoyed the Gossip Girl reboot.
Oh, okay. Okay. I didn't know that was on there, but I'm sure she will be very into that.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, all that free advertising done for HBO Max that we pay for and don't get anything from.
Except enjoyment.
Yeah, yeah. Did you notice that Netflix has a new Witcher movie on there?
So I was actually going to talk about this week. I'm glad someone else brought it up first.
I
Okay.
have not seen this.
I also haven't seen it, and I wanted to know if either of you knew that it existed.
More great minds moments.
Yeah. So I have intent to watch this, but I haven't done it yet.
Okay. Maybe that gets in line before Evangelion because I have a feeling it's easier to do.
So is it live action or is it animated?
It's animated.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it seems to be about Vesemir based on the intro blurb.
It's a
If you do know who,
okay,
wait,
I don't know
people
what that
who
means.
Vesemir is?
No.
Yeah.
I forget that I
It's
have
called
like,
Nightmare of the Wolf, by the way, is the one we're talking about.
I forgot that I have like a bunch of video games worth of Witcher knowledge and some knowledge of the books, and you guys haven't read either of those,
Right.
probably.
But it's also about Geralt.
Is it?
Yeah, it's the origin of Geralt.
So I guess like very broadly, stuff that is known. Vesemir is a Witcher himself.
Okay, so Vesemir, I remember playing his card when we were playing that Witcher card game.
Gwent, yes.
Gwent.
And he is, at least in the time frame of the Witcher live action show, he would be like an elder, like trainer of Witchers.
Okay.
But
So
is
he would
also
be
himself a Witcher.
Geralt's like mentor, maybe?
I think that might be a way to put it.
Witcher Yoda.
I don't know if he actually trained Geralt himself or not, because I don't remember. Like, there's a lot of other characters and stuff in the books, and I don't know what is involved here. And then they haven't talked about these guys in the show really, so I don't. They did, although they did go back to that castle, right? In one of those episodes, was Vesemir there in that? Was there an old guy in the castle?
I thought the castle was abandoned.
The castle was abandoned in the show because that's where the thing was, the monster. That was the young girl.
The daughter, yeah.
The daughter. Interesting. The cast list does not say who plays Geralt.
Yeah, I don't think Geralt might not be in it, Andrew.
But it says on the Netflix thing that it's about his origin story and Vesemir. But maybe Geralt's just a body and doesn't talk or something.
Or maybe this is like Vesemir recruits the boy to become Geralt, right?
Maybe
that is also,
yeah.
Closing moment kind of thing.
That is also a thing, right? About Witcher lore, like did Geralt talk about it in the show? Gosh, I don't want to spoil stuff. I don't know what has been talked about versus.
Oh, interesting. You think some of this stuff will finally show up in this, huh?
Did Geralt talk about how people become Witchers in the
kind
TV
of
show?
like vaguely talked about how they're taken to a place, and they're.
He talks about like how there's like
magic
a potion
with a
it's magic,
potion.
and it's like a very painful procedure and that kind
basically
of stuff.
they're kind of turned into monsters.
Yeah. Okay. So I wonder if this will be the story of, finding a child to become Geralt. Because the kid probably wasn't born Geralt.
Yeah. My guess is that's probably the case, and that it's young Geralt sort of thing, if Geralt shows up at all. But
Yeah, I guess.
yeah. Okay, interesting. Okay, well,
Anyway,
we will
I am
report
curious
back
to watch
together.
Okay, so are we going to watch this for next week?
I'll
Like
watch
a
it.
firm plan here?
I'll watch it.
Yeah, I could probably make that fit.
Okay.
Because I was going to suggest we watch Evangelion this week, but it sounds like that's being delayed another week.
I'm very curious about this Witcher movie.
Okay.
I really like the Witcher
I
universe
wanna watch it too,
they've
so.
built, and so if this is going to be part of it, we might as well get in there.
It's like dropped with no warning whatsoever.
No, it
build-up.
just sort
I
of
didn't
showed
see any
up.
trailers.
Yeah, I have not
marketing.
heard one word about this.
I went
is it
there.
Is it full movie length or is it a series?
It's just one movie. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
I
Okay.
didn't get a runtime. I could go back.
Nah, who cares?
Okay.
We'll watch it.
83 minutes.
Yeah,
Oh.
movie length. Okay.
Yeah. And I have no knowledge of any sequels or anything because, like you said, it came out of nowhere. All right.
We had no knowledge of this one. How could we have
Yeah.
knowledge about a sequel?
We screwed up last week, you guys.
What?
What
How
did
could
we?
this be?
What did we forget?
Michael almost saved us. It was the Super Nintendo's 30th anniversary last week.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh my gosh.
In a we were old moment.
Yeah. Welcome to that headspace, huh?
Yeah, I saw an interesting question about that, which is has any other system from before or since held up quite as well as the SNES has?
You're talking about the games of it because
Yeah, not necessarily the physical
reliability,
hardware.
not the hardware of it.
I think that's really tough to answer because you don't know, like maybe the N64 or the
Oof.
PS1 aesthetic is going to come in big in like 10 years. Because you got to think about how old people were when they were playing those and how old they are now, right? Like the people that were really big Super Nintendo fans are like full adults now and are working in the workforce, perhaps producing games and making them like those ones that they loved back then, right?
Yep.
And so how many you're starting to see it now, you know, you're getting some of those people who like, man, I really loved, you know, Quake. I really loved, you know, PS1 era games or, you know, N64 era games, but I think we're not there yet. And they're definitely not to like the level of like, oh man, I really love the Dreamcast or the 360 or original Xbox.
I definitely agree that nothing newer than an N64 is going to have that staying power. I mean, the series of some of the later games have staying power. Halo will go on forever, right?
Right.
Call of Duty will go on forever. But those are franchises. Like the later consoles spawned franchises. That console spawned fans of that console. And I think, JJ, your point is valid. Like PS1 N64 is still a very nostalgic era, especially for me. I love my N64 and I won't get rid of it.
Oh,
but
yeah. I've still got one.
But the people that look at that and say, I loved Perfect Dark, they don't make a pixel perfect remaster of Perfect Dark. They make a remaster of Perfect Dark versus a lot of the SNES stuff. If it's not a pixel perfect representation with exactly the same performing controls, people get upset, right?
I think you're right in a lot of ways, and that's totally true. But it's because, you know, maybe by the end of the Super Nintendo and certainly by the N64 and PS1 eras, like 2D based games had sort of reached a zenith of the level of artwork that can be produced, you know, in a pixel type format without just, you know, insane cost and spend. Like you've seen, like there are some really, really beautiful pixel based games these days.
Sure. Yeah, they're gorgeous.
But
the breadth,
you know, go ahead.
Also the breadth of the SNES library as compared to everything before it was absolutely nuts. Especially when you got into like, well, I could bring stuff from Japan.
And it's super interesting because you go so many games from that era, right? The SNES era are like still beloved today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and like foundational for their series.
Yeah. And there were just so many more games produced in that era than I feel like there are these days. Not, I guess, no. You know what? That's not true. The issue is that there were more discs and physical games produced back then. And now most of the games are getting produced digitally, so it's easier not to see them.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the switch there. But yeah, it's just like so many foundational like things you think of as like mainstays of video games were like, if not invented there, but like, you know, became super popular there.
I think you could say that the PS1's archive is probably bigger. I mean, almost certainly.
That's probably fair.
Yeah, in terms of like number of games, yeah.
But that's not the impact that had, right? Like SNES came in and was like, anyone can kind of make games for this thing. Like we've done it a bunch of times. It's not that hard, you know, and they did, you know. It's funny because you say a lot of people like, we're not judging it on the hardware, but a lot of people will judge it on the hardware and be like, well, if you had all those games on the Genesis, they would have been better. Like the Super Star Wars series, right? All those games were technically better on the Genesis versions, or
The Genesis sound hardware is better than the SNES. I'm gonna get
uh-huh.
hate email for this.
Uh
Genesis music is better than SNES music, man. Go listen to those soundtracks. The
Absolutely.
Genesis ones sound so good.
So there's like a series of those types of games where people were starting to make cross-platform games for the first time, right? That were actually truly like kind of the same game and not just the same name. And then you ended up with like, well, there's extra levels on that one because the Genesis could hold more, or there's better
Or they
music
have
on
like,
that one.
yeah, it's like, oh, this version sounds like, songs, and the other one sounds like, beeps and boops. Not quite that bad, but
Yeah.
it is definitely noticeable when you go between those in
But
terms of the sound, anyway.
I think it's still too powerful of a name to discount as maybe the best. Yeah, Michael, good question.
Yeah. I think that's man. Yeah,
It's a
I
hard
think
question.
it'd be hard to pick anything else, I think.
I think the SNES probably benefited too, unlike modern systems, from something of a lack of competition. Right, the Genesis had been out for a couple of years already when the SNES came to the States, but PlayStation 1 didn't drop until 95.
And that's what
Right.
I would
So,
that's the only
And
system I would say you might make the argument for. The PlayStation 1 is also seminal.
yeah, so like
Absolutely.
what other console has had that much time to itself before a new generation or a competitor has.
And like you got to remember at the time too, the NES was still huge. Like people loved Mario,
Oh yeah.
and people were like, "Oh, the Genesis." Well, like what? It's got this
Well,
this Alex Kidd and Sonic or whatever. Like, where's
also
that new Mario though?
parents though, like no, you already have a game system. You have the NES. And right, like
Totally.
it was easier for kids to say like, "Mom, that's the new Nintendo. Look, I have this Nintendo. Now they have a new one." Versus like, "What is a Genesis? Why do I need to buy you that? You have a Nintendo."
Totally.
Yep.
And like you could show them Super Mario World because it was at the kiosk at every toy store and
Yep.
every game store, and just be like, "Look, Mom, see this? The NES can't look like this." And it's like, dang, you're right, kid. It's like very obviously better looking.
Good question. Well, speaking of consoles, did anyone sign up for GameStop Power Up or get success during the Amazon Treasure Truck PS5 drops this week?
You said a bunch of buzzwords and jargon, and I
I did.
just immediately tuned out. It was like,
Yep.
I can't
Yeah.
hear this now
Uh-huh.
anymore.
Yeah.
Nah, dog.
There was like a huge bunch of different places that got PS5s this week. Well, I think every major retailer, Target, Walmart, Amazon did it on their Treasure Truck. But I don't know if we've talked about this yet. And the absolute, I want to say a worse word than shoddiness that is the GameStop membership to get access to bundles of PlayStation 5, not just a PlayStation 5, but like you have to buy an extra $100 worth of worthless CRAP to put on top of it.
I mean, that sounds like something a company that has been strapped for cash for a long time would do.
Sounds like a cell phone.
Sure does. None of us got a PlayStation 5, I assume.
No.
No.
I saw it on that treasure truck, and the treasure truck is the only one that I saw that happened. I didn't know it had happened other places, but I thought about it. I was like, you know what? I will eventually get one of these. What if I did it? Nah. Like it took me. I thought about it for like that 30 seconds.
Yeah.
You're fine, JJ. Horizon Forbidden West got pushed to next spring, so
Okay,
I
it's going to come out on PS4, so I'm not too worried.
I was not going to pull the trigger on it. And then I remembered that everything PS4 works on the PS5. And I was like, all right, maybe when they're available. But I think, follow the gamers advice, the We Were Gamers advice, and wait for it to be a little cheaper. It'll eventually happen.
It will eventually happen, and I think it may not happen for a while, given that they're still having stock issues over a year and a half later. But I certainly think they will look. The company will make more of them, and eventually, everyone that wants one will get one.
I wonder what the life of the PS5 will be. because of the delays in getting them into hands?
It's a good question. You know, did like these first 2 years like not count because so many of the people that want them don't have, or like even did the first year not count because there's like no games? Like, that's the
Yeah,
thing
all the
that
studios
blows my
pushed.
mind. Like, yeah, all the studios pushed. Like, yeah, there was the big the Demon Souls remaster, right? That was a big first party
Yeah.
flashy looking game. There's that Returnal PS5 game, the Ratchet and Clank game.
I was just about to say Ratchet and Clank.
I think I've named them all.
I think you have.
Yeah.
Other than
So I'm gonna
PS5 only, you know.
yeah.
I'm gonna vote that it does wind up with a slight extension to its life, only if for the reason that they're going to need extra time to recoup their costs before they can afford to start the next development cycle.
I think
Oh, that's a good point too. I think I've already seen on hardware blogs and stuff that there's a different like internal SKU of it already that's out there. It's like they
Oh, wow.
redesigned some of the components inside so that it's like, you know, a little more efficient and cheaper for them to make.
That was quick.
wow. I was gonna say that, like, given the slowness of the refresh from Nintendo, and Xbox not really getting out there with much either. I mean, this could be a 12-year cycle.
They have been, or at least the, you know, PlayStation has still at least come out and said they are the ones who believe in generations, and we're the ones who, you know, are for sure, you know, we believe in, you know, PS4, PS5 kind of generational stuff. Xbox has kind of just been like, hey, these are the new Xboxes. Y'all could get these, or, you know, we got this Game Pass stuff. You could get that.
Yeah.
And they're kind of just like, whatever you guys want to do, you know, here, there, buy it on PC. That's cool. Buy it over here. Xbox, pretty cool.
Yep.
Whatever you guys want to do. So I totally could believe that Microsoft will just like, oh, this is the Xbox Series X, and then we're gonna release this Xbox Series Double X or whatever, and R or whatever.
Dude,
and
if they could
like,
get,
you know, that'll
if
be
they
the
could
next one.
convince the marketing department to just let them keep adding X's, I'd be into that.
They get in trouble with that eventually, right?
I mean, maybe rebrand it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They just pick because like how many other like cool letters are out there? Like S, they already use S, right? So R, T.
T.
I don't know what other letters are cool. I don't know the like
T
what are cool
sometimes
letters.
is used for not cool stuff though.
That's true.
You know, like I think aren't the processors that are kind of gimped, aren't those T? The like processors that have graphics card, their graphics cores shut off. I think those are T. Yeah, watch out for that when you buy processors, by the way.
You want the K. That's the one you want.
You don't need the K. Let me put that out there.
You totally don't.
Most people don't need the K. Okay.
But you want it. But
you want the K.
You want to be able to overclock.
Make sure your motherboard can deal with a K first.
Yeah.
Before you buy one, because then you're wasting money. All right. Well, we that was a nice little intro today. Let's talk about some games. JJ.
Yes, hello.
I installed Magic the Gathering Arena.
Oh my God, Andrew.
He's done it.
Why?
Because I went to play Commander the other day.
Oh.
In person.
Wow. Cool.
And then I got home and thought I might play this. And so I installed it. But while I was installing it, I started playing Monster Train.
Mm-hmm.
And you could just call me Chris Evans because I'm on that Snowpiercer and I'm not getting off.
Mm-hmm.
I have not touched Bone. Yeah, I know. Yeah,
Bone Crusher.
Bone Crusher. But
Yeah.
there was a Snowpiercer joke for the North Korean or the South Korean movie fans amongst us.
Snowpiercer is a good movie.
You know, I haven't touched the arena because I keep playing Monster Train and I can't stop.
Speaking of Magic the Gathering Arena, they've released a new set that has been pretty interesting. I've enjoyed it so far.
I saw some of the cards from it when I went to play Commander.
Yeah, the Jumpstart Historic Horizons.
Jumpstart, yeah.
The I don't know which you saw the original Jumpstart in paper, right? So
Yeah.
It's a little different, but it's an interesting format to play for sure because you get these like two halves of a deck and you shuffle them together and just play.
I saw them. Yeah, they were doing that one for it as I got there.
Definitely
It was
a
weird. It was a
more
weird
friendly
concept,
version.
Michael.
Like
You literally buy two halves of a deck,
Okay.
it's
and
like
you
they
just
come in packs, and the packs are half of a deck.
yep. And then
So
you
are all of the halves tuned so that they work together, or can you just kind of get hosed with two halves that are unusable with each other?
They are intended to be somewhat interoperable.
Okay.
Whereas in like this half will do kind of its own contained thing, and then this other half will do kind of its own contained thing, and maybe they'll work together, or maybe they won't. But at least they're not going to hurt you.
right. You won't if you put Smash Red Black together. You won't have Red Black cards. But you may have cards that interact well because Red Black often interact well.
Okay.
But if
Or
you
it's like
just buy two white packs, they're gonna, in general, be mostly the same. Some of the rares will be different.
or you get one that's like, oh, this pack is vampires, and this pack over here is like life gain. It's like those are things that go well together, right? Vampires take life and you gain life. That seems like a synergy
Yeah, you can
there.
buy those two different types of packs. Yeah, yeah, it was a cool format to watch. One of the guys got like a $35 card.
Magic the Gathering.
Nice.
Yeah, I can't believe the paper cards are still worth $35.
Yeah, it's all about supply and demand, right?
Yeah. Monster Train goes well. I think I'm gonna be in it to fill out that little logbook with like
Gonna gold in all the cards. That's a lot.
No,
Just gonna
the
get to
like
level 10 with
the
all the
main
classes.
page of the logbook, which is like get everything to level 10, win the game with every faction combo, and then I'll probably be like, I'm good, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think I've gotten all the clans to 10 except for two, one of which is 8 and the other which is 7.
So I had a question for you since you've gotten all the clans to 10, or most of
Oh,
them.
most
I
of them.
have a card in each clan that is undiscovered. So you're supposed to unlock every card at every level or cards at every level. I have 39 out of 40 cards for all my level 10 factions.
Hmm.
And I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
I don't necessarily know either. Is it possible? Have you unlocked the second starting champion for every clan?
Yes.
Okay.
Some of them are really good, and some of them are like, well, this is kind of boring. It's the same thing every time, no matter what.
Yeah.
Like especially I think the Umbran secondary is like, this time he can be eaten 4 times. This time he can be eaten 5 times. It's like, okay, that's very exciting. Thank you for the very subtle change that doesn't matter.
Trying to think what else it could be. The DLC card maybe. I don't know if there's cards from the DLC.
maybe.
I don't have the DLC either. I can tell you I wasn't looking at number of cards unlocked. I was definitely looking at the levels, or maybe you need Covenant levels with them to unlock some cards.
Oh,
Do you have any Covenant levels at
I
all?
have no Covenant levels because I was like, I'm not sure I don't know if I want to do it.
Yeah, I would have to look it up. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I also haven't figured out how to send you a game yet, but I'll try that at some point. Anyway, that's the game report from me. Michael?
After last week's rapid shotgun of gaming,
You wore yourself out?
yeah, well, I didn't have enough room to add more to the four, yeah, that I was already playing. So
Uh-huh.
I've played a little bit more of everything that I've been playing. So I played a little bit more Mekorama, a little bit more of Evo Explorers, a little bit more of Greek, and a little bit more Breath of the Wild.
I don't know how you manage it.
They sound
I
like
mean, it's easy because two of them are just sort of like idle tap mobile games.
Mm. Fair. You just play that before you go to bed?
Yeah, or when I have like 5 minutes here. I'm waiting for something, a lunch order.
That's a good point. Yeah. I've been doing the same with what the golf. It's good enough without the controller that when I take kids to places and I have to sit there, you know, that I can do it without the controller because I'm not going to be that guy that sits up in the corner and pulls out his controller for his phone. But there, some of those portal. I would think I was describing to you guys the portal levels last week.
Yeah, you talked about them.
Yeah.
Now they gave you a portal gun towards the end of those levels, and it is wonky without a controller. It took me a while to beat. But yeah, all right. Well,
For my part, I have still also been playing little bits of Yakuza 6 here and there, just kind of, wandering around, doing the side missions and whatnot. But I did also start something else, which
because
maybe
side
is
missions
of
is not
interest.
enough.
Yeah, it's a pretty different genre from Yakuza, I'll say.
Okay.
Well, should we guess first?
Sure. Go
I
for
want
it.
to try
if you
and
want.
guess. Should we try and guess the genre, Michael?
I mean, that would help narrow it down.
Deck builder.
No.
I'll go with RPG.
No.
First person shooter.
It is a first person shooter.
You're playing Quake.
Ooh, good guess.
No.
It just came out, so I thought maybe he tried it.
Also, back in my day, I already played Quake.
Oh, didn't they just
times.
re-release those on? I saw them pop up on my Game Pass feed.
Yeah, they released a remaster of Quake 1.
Okay. Unreal Tournament.
No. All right, I'm just going to tell you guys. I'm playing Doom 2016, I guess.
Doom 2016.
Nice.
So the reboot Doom from id Software.
The one with Doom guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Doom Marine, as they call him.
Or Doom Slayer.
Yeah, he goes by different names. I mean, he doesn't talk.
No.
I will say that game, A, loves heavy metal a lot. And B, loves gore and exploding violence and just like blood everywhere, which also like fits with heavy metal, I suppose.
Are you a big Doom guy, either of you?
I mean, I played it when I was younger, but I wasn't like huge into it.
Yeah, I played it a little bit at different friends' houses. I never had it myself, but yeah, I never got that much into it either.
I played Doom 1 because of Wolfenstein. When I was playing Wolfenstein 3D and they were like, that's like Doom. I was like, all right, I'll try that. And then Doom was like so nonsensical to me that I never played it past like the second level or something.
Doom came out after Wolfenstein.
Yeah. But it's not like at the
yeah.
time I was not the most on it, I would say, in terms of my timing with playing games. So I think I was playing like Wolfenstein 3D probably a year or two after it came out. And then I played Doom and I was like, got 2 levels. And then I tried to play Doom 3. And
Many years later.
That game is I get too nervous.
Doom 3 is very different from Doom and Doom 2, right? It's a very much about light and ammo and jump scares and kind of like a horror thing.
Yeah, well, I had it on the Xbox, so you couldn't mod the flashlight to be on the gun.
You mean the duct tape mod?
Duct tape mod, yes.
Where you literally duct tape the flashlight to your gun.
Nice.
Yeah. I played that game in college, I want to say. I don't think I even played it when it came out. This game is like Doom 1 in that it is interested in you running around and murdering demons as much as is possible, as fast as is possible, and to a heavy metal soundtrack. Just like running around like, oh, there's a monster over there. Blam! I'm playing with a mouse and keyboard. And and because that felt right. You know?
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
And you are just like so fast in that game. You can whip around and just like smoke dudes, and they give you, they give you get the guns from Doom. You get a little pistol, and you pick up a shotgun, and then you get eventually you get a like an assault rifle type gun that shoots bullets like that. You get a rocket launcher. Eventually, you get the plasma rifle. Eventually, and you get the super shotgun, which is like a double-barreled shotgun that shoots both at once. And it's just fun, man. You're just running around and shooting stuff. And the maps are just full of like little secrets and stuff hidden off to the side that are like. So when you said, "Is it an RPG?" I had to think for a second because there's a lot of like RPG mechanics almost in this, in a
Really?
weird way. Yeah. And so like you can, you find these tokens on dead soldiers and you can pick them up and they increase the abilities of your suit. And so you can use those to like make yourself more immune to environment damage, for instance, or this one will make your grenades, there are grenades, to make your grenades recharge faster, or this one will make your map so that it displays secrets without you having to find the little map terminal. Or you can do, this one will make your enemies show up in a wider radius, or things like that. And it is just like, whew, you do a level and you're just like, I need to calm down, man. It's like I'm leaning forward in my seat. I'm like really like on it, because the battle encounters just like require you to be moving so fast, or maybe they don't require it, but it is just easy just to keep going. You're like, blast this guy, turn, rocket this guy, I'm out. Okay, turn, shoot this guy with a shotgun, and then each of your weapons start getting mods, so you have like upgrades to them. Now for the assault rifle gun, if I hold down right click, it sort of like loads up like little mini rocket launchers that I can then fire. The rocket launcher has a right click where I can hold it down to lock on.
Ooh.
Nice.
Yes, extremely nice.
In a game like where speed is key, right? You can shoot that and then look away.
When that gosh darn revenant jumps and makes me miss my rocket shot, I am mad. And I'm very happy that I don't have to worry about that anymore, because the rocket's just going to turn around and hit him in the back.
Nice.
The game also is really into this like they call them glory kills, but basically like, you get an enemy to like a low amount of health and they start flashing, and you can run up to them and press, I think by default the key is F, and you will do some kind of like cool murder simulation on them. It's like, you rip off their arm and beat them with it, or you stab a horn through their eye, or like rip off their legs, or whatever, some kind of saw them in half.
Press F for fatality.
Basically. And then you are rewarded by spewing a bunch of health. And so it was like, you can die super fast if you are not paying attention, right? You get hit by like 3 fireballs, you may be dead. So they're really encouraging you to like go around, shoot guys, get them as low as possible, do the execution on them, get a spray of health to recharge, find the next guy, and then do the same thing, right? And then you're like, well, and there's little drops peppered throughout the arenas, and there's armor as well. But eventually you're going to start running out of ammo for your guns. This is where the chainsaw comes in.
Oh yeah, the staple.
You guys may remember,
Yeah,
the Doom chainsaw has always been a thing, right? You could chop the guys up. Well, now the chainsaw has ammo, fuel.
No.
Yes.
Why?
oh, it's got fuel. Okay.
It's fuel, chainsaw fuel, because when you, it's a one-hit kill for basically everything I've encountered. Some of the bigger monsters, like if you use it on like a Hell Knight or like a Mancubus or something, it's going to use like 2 or 3 fuel. But when they die, they will literally explode in showers of bullets for every gun. It's just like a rain of collectibles for ammo for every other gun.
I guess I shouldn't ask how that makes sense.
No,
Doom.
don't question it.
Doom is how. How does it make sense that they explode in health?
Yeah.
Whatever. So the loop has been like, shoot these guys, run up to a guy, chainsaw him in half, refill all your ammo, go to the next guy, blast him, get a kill, refill your health, and sort of just like run around like that. And you don't need a chainsaw like every other guy, but eventually you will probably like one per encounter want to chainsaw some dude. It has been very fun. I have enjoyed it.
Nice. I'm jealous because I've never reconnected to that series after Doom 3. I know Doom Eternal was not well received.
You should play this game. It's I think I got it for $5 on a sale.
I bet you it's on
it's
this
almost certainly
Xbox
on Game
Pass system.
How could it not be? Because it's owned by id, which is owned by
Bethesda.
There you go.
Yeah.
Doom Eternal Deluxe, Doom 2, Doom 64. This just says Doom.
Doom is the one you want, probably.
That must be Doom 3.
No. Doom is called Doom 3. Doom 3 is called Doom 3. This one will be called Doom.
Yeah. I'm trying to find it. I don't know. No, this one's definitely Doom 3. It just, you can't see the 3 until you click on it. I don't see Doom 2016 on here.
Well, so 2016 is not part of the name.
Right. But
it's
I see
just called Doom.
Doom Eternal, the Ancient Gods, Doom 2, Doom 64. Is Doom 2016 not on Game Pass? That's crazy.
It is, 5 years old at this point?
Yeah, maybe they need to update it. I don't know.
Anyway, I've seen it routinely on sale for 75% or more off on various sales. So, you can throw $5 at these guys. It's worth it.
Nice.
That's my We Were Gamers recommendation. I played a game from 2016.
Nice.
Beautiful. I think it's a good time for us to use a little extra time today to say something we don't often get into current events, but Michael, this one maybe hits a little close to home for you, so I wanted to shout it out. I wanted to let people in South Lake Tahoe know that, what's happening up there is pretty awful and that a lot of people are thinking of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, for people that are not from California, a lot of wildfires in California, as there have been for many years now. And most of South Lake Tahoe, if not all of it, has now had to evacuate. And some of the pictures from up there are pretty grim, with the traffic trying to get out of the way of a raging fire.
Hellacious looking in some instances.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
And, I think, Michael, you have a little bit of a personal connection, as well as some friends of the pod, let's say. Many people that we know have connections to Lake Tahoe. Multiple that are in our little community. So, reach out via email if you need to chat. We're here. Anyway, and that'll do it for today, I think, since we kind of ended on not a light note, but hey, it gives us time to go watch The Witcher, I guess. In the meantime, if you need us, where would you send an email there, JJ?
They can send those to podcast@wewergamers.com. That's our email address, and we will happily hear your, you just want to reach out and talk. We're here. We are also on the internet, on YouTube. You can search for We Were Gamers, all one word. Hit subscribe. That does really help us out. So if you could do that, that would be super helpful. We are also on all of your favorite podcasting apps, and Apple and Google and Spotify and Stitcher and, podcast zones. And, leave us reviews on there. That also helps. And as well, we're at We Were Gamers on Facebook and Instagram and all the various social media except TikTok, because we are too old.
Yep.
Here.
The movie next week, Witcher. Also, for people that heard it on the last podcast, there was going to be a subspace on Friday. Something weird happened with the transcode of that video, so it'll be up before this podcast, so you can go back and find it I'm sorry about that. But more on that next time once I have it fixed.
Stay tuned for technical difficulties.
Well, yeah, I mean,
That was
I tried to fix it before Friday, but I was packing for camping on Friday, and then I didn't have any service on Friday unexpectedly while we were camping, so it ended up just having to fall to this week. So apologies for that, but it'll be out.
No big deal.
Yeah.
And people will enjoy that when they get to it, because it was a good one. We had a nice discussion.
I'm looking forward to
Say.
listening to that one.
Yeah, so look for that shortly, if not already up.